15-year-old Mariam was no stranger to hardship. Every night, she would slave over endless chores imposed by her stepmother, often falling asleep after midnight with aching arms and a heavy heart. The exhaustion took its toll, and one morning, she woke up late, rushing out the door without realizing she'd forgotten something, her underwear. At school, Mariam, known for her intelligence but clumsiness, tried to ignore her exhaustion and focus on her studies. But her English teacher, Mr. Dube, noticed her wardrobe oversight. As he watched her, his interest turned sinister. After class, he called her to his office. When she entered, Mr. Dube didn't waste any time. "Mariam, you seem to have forgotten something this morning. Why aren't you wearing underwear?" Mariam froze, shocked by his intrusive comment. She felt humiliated and tried to stammer out an explanation, but Mr. Dube smirked. "Now I can't get it out of my mind," he said. Mariam gathered her courage. "I am not responsible for how you choose to interpret what you see, sir," she said firmly, and left as the school bell rang. But Mr. Dube wasn't ready to let it go. Over the next week, he punished her relentlessly. He ordered her to pull weights in the scorching heat while her classmates enjoyed their lunch break. He piled on extra assignments, forcing her to spend hours working after school. Her friends tried to help, but Mr. Dube only increased the pressure. When he assigned her to clean the school toilets during class, Mariam couldn't take it anymore. She went to the principal, Mrs. Dube, who, as it turned out, was Mr. Dube's elder sister. Heart-pounding, Mariam told her everything. But the principal's reaction shocked her. With an icy glare, she said, "Accusing a teacher of this sort of behavior is unacceptable. Continue with your punishments, and if you lie about my brother again, you'll be expelled." Devastated and trapped, Mariam felt she had no one to turn to. Desperate for the harassment to end, she eventually gave in to Mr. Dube's advances. The secret relationship weighed on her, leaving her anxious and isolated. Months passed, and Mariam began feeling unwell. When she missed her period, she realized with dread that she was pregnant. She told Mr. Dube, who immediately panicked and promised to fix it. One evening, he drove her to a distant town and brought her to a shady clinic, insisting she undergo an abortion. But Mariam's body was already weakened from stress and lack of care, and during the procedure, something went horribly wrong. Mariam passed away on the clinic table, her young life ending in tragedy. Terrified of the consequences, Mr. Dube claimed she was his sister to the clinic staff, then abandoned her body at a nearby mortuary. He returned to his life as if nothing had happened, spreading rumors that Mariam had moved away to live with a distant family. Days turned into weeks, and her absence from school weighed heavily on her friends, especially Aminatu, who had been Mariam's closest confidant. Unlike others who assumed Mariam's stepmother was keeping her home, Aminatu grew suspicious. She remembered Mariam's fear and the time she mentioned her struggles with Mr. Dube. With a heavy heart, she told her parents, who immediately contacted the police. An investigation was launched, and the police questioned Mr. Dube. Initially, he denied knowing anything about Mariam's whereabouts, but the evidence was stacked against him. Eventually, under pressure, he confessed to his actions, admitting he'd taken advantage of her, forced her to the clinic, and abandoned her body. The news sent shockwaves through the school and community. Mrs. Dube, the principal, was held responsible for turning a blind eye and protecting her brother rather than the students. She was removed from her position and faced charges for her neglect and complicity. To honor Mariam's memory, the school implemented stricter policies to protect students from any form of abuse. New staff were brought in, counseling programs were introduced, and a dedicated team was established to support students. Though Mariam's life ended in tragedy, her story sparked profound change. Her friends became advocates for student protection, vowing to ensure that no one would ever face the same fate. Mariam's story became a lesson about the dangers of silence.